Guys, Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 is around the corner and they have finally released the NDA. We can talk about it. I was flown out to the Grand Canyon with several other content creators and media outlets that got to experience the Grand Canyon firsthand and also compare it to the sim. It was an amazing experience and I thought that they set the bar high with the real Grand Canyon. They did a great job. Guys, if it's our first time meeting, welcome to the channel. My name's Jose. I'm an air traffic controller in real life. I'm a huge VR flight sim nerd. Guys, there's so much information to cover. Let's have fun. Let's rock and roll. Here we go, guys. Here's the intro.
Landed in Phoenix. I'm on the way to baggage claim to find the shuttle. So hopefully we find someone with a sign.
I think it's fairly obvious that you don't end up at one of these world premiere events by accident. Xbox did reach out to me and ask if I want to go and attend, and I absolutely said yes. So they did sponsor this. The cool thing is they said I didn't have to make any content on this at all. They didn't ask for any videos. They didn't ask for any scripts. They didn't ask to know what I was doing with it. And that's awesome. So I don't have to do anything. I've worked with other partners in the industry who ask for scripts and videos and kind of a detailed explanation of what you're going to do with a product, which I think is silly. We're content creators. We create content. And our job is to show it off in the best light and be honest with you guys. So if there's best light means, hey, it's broken, it's broken. You know, this is not broken. It's my microphone. But my point is, it serves me no use to lie to you guys and tell you it's better than what it is. You know, otherwise I lose your trust and I fail at my one job of being honest and bringing you guys some cool information. So thank you, Microsoft, for doing that. Also, shout out to the team who works behind the scenes, gets all this job done, guys. I know I'm rambling here, but thank you, thank you, thank you. They do a great job. This day ran like a top. There was a lot of things. It was from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. You guys are going to get a snippet of it. Again, interviews and 4K commentary footage coming up in the next few days. Subscribe for that. I have a list to my right. We're going to jump onto that right now. There's a lot to cover, and I've had a lot of coffee and Celsius and Starbucks. Also, guys, at the end of the video, I will have raw VR footage from the Pimax Crystal Light in the sim. I don't have audio. It's one of the few clips that I actually recorded. I got to screen record, and my system crashed for the Pimax. It ran well the second time, but I didn't realize that the audio was not plugged in recording. So what a bummer. But here we go, guys. Some of the core features and updates in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. We got to talk about this first off, right? VR. VR is absolutely supported. As a VR pilot, the first thing I did was ask, can we get a VR headset here? What do you have? And they had the Pimax Crystal. So the Pimax Crystal was absolutely amazing. I got to rock it, and I got some good news. One of them is that we will be getting fixed foveated rendering, and I do suspect we're going to get quad view support soon. So we're going to get the eye tracking support for those units that have that. And guys, I was surprised to find out when I spoke to Jorg. I said, hey, do you use VR? He said, oh, absolutely. Yes. He's like, I love VR. I use it, and he uses the Reverb G2. I was able to reach out and tell him, look, you know, Windows Mixed Reality, we're having an issue because it's going to get canned, and once that support stops, that's probably why you see some of these questions come up. And he was very honest. He said, well, I don't quite understand. Like, I see some issues online, and I explained it to him that because Microsoft is dropping that support, we will no longer, those headsets are going to be paperweights unless somebody finds a workaround. And I've seen several discussions online that say that you cannot simply write a code and pull certain software and make those headsets work. Now, I've seen people online do amazing things, so I suspect they will work around it. But essentially, Reverb G2s and any Windows Mixed Reality headsets are going to be dead in the water. I believe it's upon 2.4H2 update for Windows, which my computer has been asking to update. And I've said no because I haven't had time to review if that's the one that's going to kill it. By the way, I put away my Reverb G2. It's in the closet, so I might as well update. I've been using the Quest 3, and I'm working on getting the Pimax Crystal Light. That's my goal. So VR ran pretty good, but it wasn't perfect. In fact, when they came over to install it, they had to plug it in, get everything set up. I had to roll my chair out of the way and kind of move while they set it up on the computer. And it took about 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes of my time, which was precious time, guys, because the day was busy, but I needed to get into VR. I needed to, so I sacrificed some of my time while they set it up. And 30 minutes seems like a world record, honestly, to get VR set up and working, on a pre-release version of Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. I was happy, seriously, I really was. Coy did a great job. He was helping me out. Thank you for being persistent and getting that for me. Now, during my interview with Sebastian from Asobo Studios, I asked him if we could get a single display port for when how when you jump in VR, you see the split screen. And when we want that export image, we want it to be one image and we want it to be HD. And guys, if you're listening from Microsoft and Asobo, this is just going to be huge. As we move forward, just understand that there's not many other platforms that show split screen for VR, because they understand that people are watching and you want somebody watching over your shoulder seeing one single HD display, preferably that has left or right eye option based on the user. Additionally, that we can also have some sort of image stabilization built in. I know it's a lot to ask for, but there are ways to do that it's actually rendering at a native resolution of 4K and it doesn't affect the headset. It's tricks we've been using with all the other sims. So I did make my request. Seb wrote it down. I'm going to try to follow up as best as I can, but thank you, Seb, for hearing me out on that. It was a very selfish request, but also representing the VR flight sim community who struggles. We have this question come up daily. They're like, hey, we need single display. How do we do it? And the answer is we don't have a solution. So thank you guys, and hopefully we get that soon. So guys, when it comes to the core sim and the technology, one of the things that they were trying to do was to make it load faster, make it have less weight on the computer, and to run better. So essentially we got a thinner client. The install itself is about 60 gigabytes versus the 170 that it was on our computers before. So 60 gigs is amazing. Now, what does this mean? We're going to need a slightly better internet connection, although Seb did say they ran it on different internet connections and it still ran fairly well. I think he even said he was using DSL for some time. Obviously, nobody has dial-up these days, but I don't necessarily think you need T1 or 1,000 megabytes a second download speeds to play the game. Will you need fast internet? Sure, absolutely. I think, fast is good. The faster the better. We'll see, as the time comes along, what we're able to get away with. But the idea is this, that you're going to start streaming more from the internet and it's going to be less on your computer as far as files, and you only download what you need. So for example, if you go to Italy, those files for Italy will download when you fly over Italy, and if you don't have to store them on your computer like we do now. We get a 4 gigabyte update that updates Italy, so go download it for the off chance you're going to fly in Italy. So it's just a great way to reduce the bandwidth usage for your internet, and also to prevent you from having to download this extra files and have them sitting on your computer. The other big thing is we're getting multi-threaded support, guys. Multi-threaded support, this is ridiculous. So I don't know what CPU they have, but I believe Coy had said that they were 13700Ks running with 4080 supers or 4080s, so they were not even 4090s. I think they were 4080s or 4080 supers. And what I noticed was the load time was amazing. You're going to see when you load down to the sim, you are above the world. And when you zoom into your town or your airport, you're loading the data right then and there. It's starting to load. And then when you click on your airport, your runway, wherever you're going, it zooms right in. Such a cool feature. I absolutely love it. And the other thing I did was I loaded into random airport. I exited and I jumped right back in, only to find that it loaded within 13 seconds. 13 seconds, guys. It was amazing. So again, we're getting increased load times, reduced weight on the computer. Now, granted, that was a simple aircraft. We will see how PMDG and these other aircraft perform. I trust with multi-threaded support, we're going to have a huge improvement. The other thing we're going to be getting is DirectX 12. They're dumping DX11. So DirectX 12 is going to be, it's going to come out of beta, and this is going to be huge for the new DDR5 RAMs and the new computers with the CPUs that we're getting to have all these threads. So It's going to be a big improvement for us on how the computers communicate. I don't know all the details, but trust me, it's going to be amazing. Now, I also did ask for the AMD users out there, like my boy Drew, Belgeode, and Sven. They have different computers. They run different systems. They run different CPUs, GPUs. So you guys are in good shape. That's the one thing that I did learn talking to Seb. He said, hey, he's like, we do have different systems that we run, and I have 3 or 4 myself, which is awesome. All right, guys, so let's talk about the career mode, the games, the challenges, the questions. Some people are worried. I saw a video and they were kind of saying like, well, you know, like the gamification of it, and, you know, they're reducing the fidelity. I'm super ashamed. They need to go back to the roots. And you know what? I was kind of sad to see that, because it was a professional pilot, and I'm sure he's not the only one. There's multiple people who probably feel that way. But if I can say, this is now my point of view now that I see it. Nothing that we did there, where there was the firefighting demo or the agriculture demo or the cargo or passenger demo or the tourism flights or the banner tow, none of it is a silly joke. These are literally pilot jobs that exist real world. And they went out and spoke to the people who do these jobs, the search and rescue units, the firefighting companies, the companies that do heavy lift. They sat down, spoke to these people and said, hey, how can we represent this correctly? So no one's talking about some sort of Mickey Mouse operation here. Like, they did their homework and they're trying to represent it to the best light possible. So to say that this is some sort of like silly game is ridiculous. You fly a plane, do a job, right? I'm an air traffic controller. My job is to get planes from point A to point B. Every pilot I talk to has a job, whether they're a student pilot learning, whether they're a commercial pilot, cargo pilot, military pilot, and all these things are now being represented, except military. I don't think we have any military missions. So maybe we get a combat flight sim. I doubt it. I know we have DCS, but right. So just think about that. I was just kind of bummed out because people are saying, well, it's not great. No, I think on the opposite. It allows people to learn because they break it down. They literally break it down in the sim. These new tutorials are meant to help student pilots, to help younger pilots, to help people who know nothing about aviation and want to learn. In fact, my driver that took me back to the airport at Phoenix said he hasn't flown in 10, 15 years, and he just would love the idea of learning. And I said, hey, man, hit me up. Here's my number. Call me if you have questions. I'll make sure you get squared up with an Xbox or computer, whatever you need. I think this is going to be great. You're going to be able to fly. It's going to be so inexpensive, and you're going to really just get to enjoy the skies. And so he was so excited. So we're bringing pilots who haven't flown. We're bringing student pilots in. We're bringing a generation of people from all around the world that don't have the means to get up in an airplane and fly and pay $150 an hour to go rent a plane. So you now get to live that dream, run a business, buy an airplane. The career mode is crazy. We're going to go into detail at another time, not today, but expect that coming up because I have videos on that. And also I have a video breaking down the whole menu. I clicked on every single menu in the buttons. If you're curious what the menu looks like, subscribe because I'm going to do that video coming up here in the next few days. So let's talk about compatibility. Compatibility with the current software. The answer is yes. It's going to work with 99% of the stuff we have. Is it going to break certain things? Sure. Yeah. I mean, I can't see how it's not going to. But because you see that the architecture, even though it's been updated, the idea is that the commands are still going to be the same. We're going to have a community folder where you're going to be able to drop things. So I'd say if you do get ready, kind of have your community folder ready. Now, my plan, if I haven't said this already, I'm going to start clean. I want nothing. I want the absolute tip-top performance with 0 mods, and I'm going to add one thing at a time to kind of see what's causing any loss or VR performance. You know, we're going to be in a place, guys, that we're going to get some of the best performance we've ever had. You know, now somebody did ask about controller profiles as of right now. How do we save them? I didn't get an answer on that. Hopefully somebody can post something in the comments below. I don't know how to find those, but we're going to reset aircraft bindings per aircraft on the new sim. So this is amazing. DCS does that. X-Plane does that. So for example, when I jump into Boeing 737, my controls do one thing, and then when I jump into Skyhawk, the same controls do something else. Now it's up to me to memorize that, but you can assign specific profiles. So that benefits you. You're going to fly twin jets. You want to fly Citations. You want to fly 737 or a Challenger, right? Your config file should overall be the same, but you can assign that profile. Now you want to jump into, you know, single engine or complex single engine, you can have profiles for that. Twin engines, it's really up to you now how you set it up, and I love that. So thank you for listening to us, Asobo and Microsoft, for that. We really do appreciate that. All right, guys, so look, we're gonna really get something for everyone. We're gonna have a fully fledged hydraulic system, fully fledged electric systems in the aircraft. Wear and tear is going to be appropriate. You're going to be able to exit your aircraft and do a walk around and check it out, whether it's a 7.3, a Skyhawk. You're going to be able to land in the Grand Canyon, walk around. You're going to be able to go land at a park near your house and walk outside, check it out. The terrain looks amazing. I mean, they're down to 15 centimeters. I don't know, I'm using centimeters. 7 inches, whatever that is, down to this amazing level of resolution down on the material on the ground, guys. It's so detailed that it's really going to make the game almost like a world simulator. You know, it's going to be gorgeous. It really is. In fact, I struggled because I'm going to do a video on this. You'll see it. I'm going to show Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 and then show 2024. And I think 2020 right now looks so good until I see. I've been constantly watching these videos play behind me, and I'm just like blown away at how good the new sim looks. It makes 2020 look gross. And 2020 looks pretty dang good. So there's that. Another thing is we're going to get RTX lighting, right? So I did ask how that's going to interact with VR. They said it should overall work. We'll see. I mean, lighting is going to be typically, I don't know if ray tracing does work in VR. If anything, I think it's going to be taxing, but they said there shouldn't be any issues. Lighting looked great when I flew. I didn't have time to lean in. I was hauling butt. I ran 6 minutes in the F-18. I went bingo fuel. It was awesome. So I didn't get to see all the details on the lighting, but it looked great. The lighting on the clouds looked great. Expect RTX beautiful lighting. I'll have some pictures to show you guys. Another thing is, guys, the clouds. I'm talking about zero pixelation on the clouds. You know how people ask, oh, how do I get rid of these pixels? They virtually don't exist. And I say virtually don't exist because I had to fight to look for them on my 4K monitor, and they were smaller than the tip of my mouse. Like, I put my mouse on them. I'm like, oh, they barely, like, my mouse covered it. Like, I'm saying like so much, guys. This is so weird. So my point is, the pixelation is virtually gone. Their coding, the way that they've upgraded the system, has been huge. So great job, Asobo. You guys are crushing that. That was a huge thing. Another thing as well, the line across the horizon, which has been bothering us for so long, is gone. I no longer saw it. Like when you hide behind a mountain and the sun is on the other side, there is no artificial horizon running across that kind of shows where it's at. So great job. The atmospheric effects look amazing. You're now going to be able to see the Aurora Borealis, which is actually right behind me. You're going to see that from the main menu. It's going to be mapped. Look at that sunset, by the way, guys. I mean, I'll throw some B-roll if it's not already up, but it's going to be just absolutely stunning. The lighting, the reflections. The reflections do need a little bit of work. I was on the airport at LAX. It showed the beautiful sky behind me in the clouds, but I turned around and there happened to be a building. So, man, it's not the end of the world. I don't know if it's going to exactly reflect what's behind me, but the fact that it did reflect the environment was good enough. And I'll wait if they update that later. That'll be really nice. Now, so for some more of the complex systems, one of the things I did mention, I don't know if I'm going to have a picture of this, but GPS satellites are going to be simulated. So when you use your GNS 530, you're going to see the GPS satellites literally like fixed in space above you, and it's going to change how accurate your flight is. So how amazing is that, guys? I mean, that level of detail, and people are sitting here saying, oh, well, the game's being gamified. No, I'm telling you, like, the flight dynamics are different. The systems are different. Like, the depth is there. We're getting an EFB, a full electronic flight bag. I got to talk to, who was it? Christopher Burnett, the co-founder of Work and Title Simulations, and Brandon Yeager, the founder and project lead over at Got Friends. Guys, you can see their passion. And if I haven't said this before, really, this is for the community, by the community, in the sense that, of course, Microsoft is making money. This is a sim. This is a product. It's a game, so to speak, right? They're making money. But really, what I'm excited to see is how they're saying, you know what? There's people that do these things better than us, and we're going to hire them. So could Asobo, could Jorg decide, you know what, we're going to do that in-house? Yeah, we could. But why not hire someone who does a really good job at it and allow them to be a part of this massive project? So that's what they're doing, and it's working out amazing. Now, again, the interviews, I'm going to have the videos of those later on. I did talk to David Adine, the CCO of Asobo. I probably mutilated his name. Sorry, David. I called him David. You see his passion. You know, my conversation with him was, you know, what's your favorite part about the sim? And it was so cool to just really hear him out, hear his heart out, and just have him talk about it, get into the detail. Really, it translated into the nitty gritty details of how complex the sim is and how awesome it is where we're at. So we'll have more of that coming up. Another note, guys, the animals are going to be based on geographical locations, which is absolutely impressive. They're going to have migrate. They're going to migrate. The herds are going to move around. You're going to have the ability to take to participate in challenges and take photos of them. And Jorg had told us, I can't remember the name of the company, but I don't know if it's like Zoo Tycoon, Animal Tycoon. One of these popular game companies is either one of his friends or a good buddy. And he said, hey, listen, we need animal assets for Microsoft Flight Sim. And that's where they got them from. So Microsoft did not try to create a bunch of high quality animals. They just got them from the pros who already had them. So they look great. And it's going to be kind of cool seeing them around in the world. You're going to see herds as you fly over the savannas. I mean, I'm just blown away. Even my son, which, not that I broke the NDA, but my 7-year-old did see the sim over my shoulder here in the office, and he's like, Dad, those acacia trees look amazing. And I'm like, those are acacia? He's like, yeah. He's like, oh. When I went to 2020, he's like, oh, that looks gross. And then when I went back to the 2024 Savannah photo, he's like, yeah, those are acacia trees. Look at the giraffes. That's awesome. So my son knew what the trees were. That's how realistic they were. So that's super cool. Wake turbulence, guys. We're getting wake turbulence. It's going to be affected by wind. So if you're taking off and you have a direct crosswind and there's a runway to your right, that wake turbulence is just going to start drifting onto that runway next to you. You know, so it's really neat that we have that. They showed us those animations. Super cool. You're going to be able to, I think, hit F7 to see them. Also, we're going to have tracks in snow, on the grass, in the dirt, on the mud. So when you're off-roading with the planes, you're going to see that. Like, how cool is that for the bush flying? Guys, bush flying is going to be a really, really big thing. I really think it's going to be just kicked up a notch. I'm looking forward to that. All right, so wind effects, guys. The wind affects the smoke, which is so cool. If I have the footage, I'll show it. The helicopter, just the smoke, you know, just being pulled right into the rotors, and it was just a beautiful thing. And imagine that you're pulling up to the medical scene, and there's someone popped smoke, and you can tell which way to land. And as you start getting closer, you know, the smoke just starts getting right in your rotor blades and just washing away correctly. Like, it's just impressive, guys. Amateur photographer, I have a big old lens. I love plane spotting. So now we're going to be able to do that within the sim. For those of you that love doing that, there's going to be challenges. There could be very specific challenges. So they've showed an example of, like, you know, get a photo of the Golden Gate Bridge, but also get a photo of the Golden Gate Bridge and whatever Alcatraz in the background or something, right? So you're like, well, where's that? So you kind of have to find it. So it's kind of neat because you're going to be learning about different areas around the world as you go to the photo mode if you take up those challenges. But let's go into the Skus, guys. These are the 4 Skus that we're going to be getting, and I think technically it's going to be 5, and I'll show you why. So the first Skus, you can see, has 70 aircraft with 150 airports. Guys, and compared to how many we had the first time around, I think we had like 35 aircraft. Deluxe is going to give us 80 aircraft, upgraded airports, and then 35 new aircraft. That's a big key, right? We're going to get 35 new aircraft. When you go to the Premium Deluxe, we're going to get 95 total aircraft, 45 new aircraft, 50 that are upgraded, and 160 upgraded airports, which is super cool. Now, the Aviator Edition, what do we get here, guys? 125 aircraft. I mean, that's just bananas. 125 aircraft. So that means that if you already have a good library of aircraft that work, imagine adding some of these, which you might have not picked up before, but now you're going to be upgrading. So it's going to be pretty cool. We're going to have a lot of aircraft quick. We're going to get 45 new aircraft, 10 which are going to be very highly detailed, their systems, 50 upgraded aircraft, 30 payware aircraft, and 160 upgraded airports. So that means we're going to get 30 payware aircraft included. Prices are not out yet. I believe pre-orders open today. And then also, let's take a quick look at the limited edition, which has a steel case, a lanyard, a note, and a couple other things. I'm not sure exactly what all comes with that, but there's a limited edition for those super nerds that want to get that. So expect that. That's going to be really cool, guys. And let me know which one you guys are going to consider getting. We did have a few issues trying to set up Pimax initially, just because it wasn't set up on the computer. And obviously, anytime you start trying to set up VR or anything, there's always some hiccups. You kind of have to spend a couple minutes tweaking it. Honestly, I was surprised that they were able to get it up and running in 30 minutes. XP72 sat next to me, and he opted to skip out on that just because he really wanted to get in with some of the aircraft. So if you guys want to see the 737 MAX, go and check out his video. He dove into that aircraft. He's an airline guy. I love airlines as well, but I was focused on VR and some of the other details. You know, that's a good thing about watching different content creators, right? I'll have the link below. Everyone has something unique that they're bringing to the table. We all kind of have something else that piques our interest. So it's really good to kind of watch different people's opinions and to see what they say, especially if you tend to align with certain people in the way that they think. Overall, you know, if they say, hey man, this is a thumbs up, you're obviously gonna have a fairly good idea that you guys are on the same page if they have the same type of taste and like that you guys have. But check this out, low approach here over the runway. Overall, felt really good. I'm not going to say specifically what FPS I ran. It's so funny. I was actually on that road with a tour. How cool is that? The fact that we get to see this. And just to the left, there's a bike trail. I was down there on a bike, on an e-bike. I rode this whole way. That's so ridiculous. It took me an hour to get to the Grand Canyon on the e-bike, and then an hour to make it back. So again, just want to show a few seconds here of this. Look at how majestic this is, guys. Absolutely beautiful. Just rolling it over right into the canyon. And I probably should have gone higher. I kind of wanted to get down low because this is how I fly, right? Everyone does something different. This is how I fly in the canyon. And the detail that you see is just so gorgeous. It's so much better than it was before. Now, what's cool is that you can actually land on a helicopter and get out. Now, what I would love to see is be able to eject. Man, that'd be cool. Eject and parachute, or have skydiving activities. I need to talk to Jorg and shoot him a message. Skydiving activities would be amazing. You take up fellow simmers, and then they jump out and parachute, and then VR skydive. That'd be kind of wicked. I've actually tried to do a video about that, but anyways, guys, overall VR was an amazing first experience, considering the fact that this is pre-alpha, pre-beta, wherever it's at. This build was about 2 days old, so just keep that in mind. They still have time to improve it. I'm sure we're pretty close to the final product, but what they have here, it's amazing. So guys, thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe. We got so much content coming up ahead. Love you guys. Thank you, and God bless. Take it easy. So much more coming soon. Peace out. 10 seconds of smiling like. Hello. Yeah, that's cool. We have now 11 seconds.